to sort of start off, are there any first-timers here tonight? Oh, excellent. Oh, brilliant. Okay, well, welcome. It's great to have you here. I'd encourage you to, we have a Twitter account for the meetup. Certainly follow us on that. As you can see, that we record all of the talks here as well. So we have a YouTube channel that we post these to. Please feel free to subscribe to that. And we also have a bunch of resources on the community repo, GitHub repo as well. So if you're interested in presenting or something like that, we have a whole presentation guide. If you're interested in contributing to the community as well, we have all of that information in our playbook. So please check out the GitHub repo for that. And as an example, our talk from last month was Elixir formatting internals, and that's been posted on our YouTube channel as well. So just a few things I wanted to go through tonight, talking about contributing, and then a little bit of meetup planning, an issue that I would like someone to pick up on the website, and then a few resources that you might find useful, especially being perhaps new to Elixir. So to start off with, Hugo and I have been sort of discussing the different roles that it takes in terms of organising the meetup. And if anyone's interested in contributing to that and helping out, we'd definitely like to talk. So there's a few roles in terms of organising the meetup. Obviously, there's the event organisation itself in terms of getting sponsors, venue, getting presenters on board. This host job that I'm awkwardly doing right now. And then there's community advocate, which is doing this community update. So that sort of involves in sort of finding some resources that might be helpful, managing the website, those types of things. And then there's the videographer for recording these talks that we do, and then the video producer for producing those videos, so doing the post-production work on that and getting them pushed up to YouTube. So if any of those roles are interesting to you, please talk to us. We'll be writing this all up in the playbook anyway, and I'll send a link out in terms of exactly what those responsibilities are. So in terms of the meetups over the next couple of months, so in May we would like to do a lightning talks meetup. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. June is currently open, so we would like a couple of 20-minute presentations or one 40-minute presentation if you're into doing something a little longer. And we're going to take a break after that for the summer, and we'll be back in September. Now, when we come back to September, we're going to do the meetup every second month. Right now, we're kind of averaging 20-minute talks, or like one 20-minute talk each month. We want to make sure that it's worthwhile for everyone coming out, and so with that, we thought we'll do it every 2 months, so at least we have a couple of talks for when we have a meetup. If we have more demand, if we're seeing more sort of presentations, and as the community grows, we can go back to having it every month. This will also free up some time to maybe like do some on-hands type workshops for the meetup as well. So it'll give us a little bit more time to do some organisation on that. So for May, we want to do lightning talks. So this sort of gives everyone an opportunity to present without having to sort of do a full 20-minute or 40-minute talk. So the idea there is that a lightning talk, simply 5 minutes, and ideally we'd like to have at least 8 presentations. So right now we have 1. So we need 7 more. So if you want to, if you're interested in doing that, please let us know. Well, actually, I'm going to post the details out on this on Friday. And if you're interested in, please let us know. It would be good to sort of know beforehand why we're help with the organisation of this. So this can be 5 minutes on Elixir, on OTP. It can be something sort of pretty focused. So look out on the details for that, and start thinking about what you could do for a presentation there. In terms of the website, Last month I mentioned that we had some deployment problems with Heroku. Those have been fixed, which is great. And the next thing, issue number 44, which would be great, which would be actually really nice if someone is interested in doing that, is currently we have a pretty rudimentary Travis CI set up. It would be great if we could switch that over to using Docker, and that would be a nice way to set up the development environment as well. So if anyone is interested in taking that on, please let me know. The issue is there. And then some resources. So last month, I talked about some books and some blog posts that I thought might be useful. That seemed to sort of resonate with certainly people new to Elixir, so I thought I'd sort of continue doing that. And typically these are the resources that I have read or have used. So the first one is the Pragmatic Studio actually has a online course developing with Elixir and OTP. This one I would recommend for someone who's relatively new to Elixir. So if you're currently going through the Pragmatic Programmer's book, Programming in Elixir, this would probably be a good accompaniment to that. It's actually relatively extensive. It's 6.5 hours of video. So it's a pretty meaty course. It starts off with building a rudimentary web server in a functional manner, and then adding the concurrent processes to that. And then it gets into OTP in a big way in terms of it starts off with building out the concurrent processes with Beam primitives such as spawn, and then it moves forward in terms of building processes that resemble a gen server, and then they switch out and actually use a gen server. So even if you've mastered sort of the functional concepts in Elixir, if you're still sort of struggling with OTP, this is actually still well worth doing. It gives you a really sort of good understanding in terms of what gen server is doing, and of course it gets into the supervisors as well. And the Pragmatic Studio actually also has a couple of good resources as well. So if you're interested in Elm, they have a good course on that. And they actually also have a course for Elm integration with Elixir as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, that's worth checking out. And then finally, there was actually a couple of good blog posts by Renee. Renee's responsible for Credo. So if you're doing any Elixir development, hopefully you're using a linting tool such as Credo. And he has a series of 3 posts currently about architecting your data flow. So it starts off pretty simply in terms of using the pipe operator, but then sort of goes into using the with macro, and then some more advanced techniques in using a token to pass through a data pipeline. So these are actually well worth reading. Even if you're pretty experienced with this stuff, it's kind of interesting in terms of the language and comparing about like when to use with and what the benefits of that are. So that's worth checking out. And I'll post these resources to the meetup event on meetup.com afterwards, so don't worry about having to track these URLs down. But definitely a good read. And that is it.